Short.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
I have, you know, something so. Yeah, I know.
It's at an earth.
Yeah, I've got 3 things.
Yeah, that's right, the long
Can folks online hear the discussion in the room?
Yes, I can. This is Faith.
Great.
Yeah,
We're
so
just
can I?
Okay.
So I know Leanne too should be hooked up.
Michelle, are you supposed to be promoted to a panelist? Kate Roby and Michelle are 2 attendees. Should they be panelists?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Shine. Yeah.
Screen always there.
Yeah, that's pretty offshore. Thank you. I wasn't there.
So I was looking.
Yeah, but I'll never see it because it's back
Okay.
here.
Colleen?
That's a big help.
Colleen, you can call the meeting to order. We're starting to record.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Or you don't have to call the meeting to order, but we're starting to record and I don't know how to stop that part. So,
Behave ourselves, in other words.
so no 4-letter words from anybody.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Tim. Yes, I will call the meeting to order. Thank you very much. The first item on the agenda is the MBA town meeting discussion, but I'm going to move that down a little and go through the program, those people, the separate departments, and let them do theirs. But hey, I'm lucky I can, know 3. So let's start with Michelle Shine.
Hello. Oh, I don't think I can start my video, but I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We can't actually see you either just because we don't have it connected to the TV apparently. So
okay.
No one can see you can see him.
Okay, well, I can see you. I can see you all. Okay, so the update for Shine for this month, obviously we are getting very close to the Medicare open enrollment period, which begins on October 15th and runs through December 7th. It is our busiest time of the year. We have already opened appointments for Needham residents and folks from surrounding communities to make appointments to meet with Shine during open enrollment. We have approximately 400 appointments ready for booking for open enrollment in Needham. I hope that number will go up a little bit. It's down from our previous number of last year, about 600 appointments. So I'm hoping we'll be able to get, hopefully end up somewhere around 500 appointments. Even with that number, we always still, run out of appointments by about Thanksgiving. So if you or anyone you know is looking for a Shine appointment for open enrollment, please make one sooner rather than later. We do expect it to be a very busy open enrollment period because of the Inflation Reduction Act. There are a lot of positive changes with Medicare drug coverage for 2025, but there are also a lot of sort of ripple effects of that. And there's potentially going to be significant amount of kind of change and upheaval with Medicare prescription drug coverage. So we're really encouraging everybody to read their mail, stay on top of their Medicare changes. Is there a question?
Not from us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so just the message from Shine is just encouraging everyone to check their Medicare for next year, make an appointment to meet with one of us during open enrollment. Otherwise, things are moving along very smoothly with Shine. We had a Medicare 101 presentation there a couple of nights ago, and we got a great response of about 16 participants. So we are continuing to just have a great relationship with the Needham Senior Center and really be able to reach a lot of people in the community and help them with their Medicare. Any questions for me?
I don't think so. And thank you. Not at the moment anyway.
Okay, thanks everyone.
All right, thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay, you said neither Jesse or.
No, Jess is here.
Jesse, okay. Jess, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's good and had a good summer. We're doing great in the social work department where our numbers are pretty steady. We always do see a little bit of a slowdown in the summer for whatever reason, but definitely steady. Stephanie, our intern, is back full force from the summer and doing 3 days a week, so that's a huge help. I think I mentioned in our report that our counseling program is definitely gotten busier. Each time the Compass comes out, we see a bump, and we have a wait list of about 5 or 6 people, which in the mental health world is actually not bad, but we don't like to keep people waiting because we really are a bridge program to long-term services. So having Stephanie back, who's now taking clients, is huge. And all of our social workers are kind of jumping in to take people so that there's not a long wait, at least for us, and then hopefully we can still connect them to someone long-term. Carrie's been busy doing a internal family systems training, which is like a counseling methodology that's very helpful in our work. So we're excited to have her, have that extra skill and bring it to our department. We received a grant from, don't quote me, MCOA, I believe, to expand our transportation program. Our taxi program is wrapping up at the end of this month. And so we're looking to continue offering medical transportation kind of outside the realm of what the community council is offering. So we're not duplicating efforts, but, getting people to those Boston appointments, basically. So we got a grant for just under $10,000 to use rideshare services, which is a new endeavor for us. And we met with Lyft, we met with Uber, and then an agency called GoGo Grandparent, which is who we're looking to move forward with. And I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but it's basically like a concierge service that uses Uber and Lyft, but also has the ability to book people, ADA accessible rides. So if someone needs a wheelchair van or a specific type of vehicle, they use Uber and Lyft and rideshare services, but their drivers are certified and background checked at a higher level. So that we can continue to offer transportation to people, who are wheelchair users, which we found with Uber and Lyft alone was no guarantee. So this service is more expensive because it's more of a concierge service, but we kind of as an agency felt that it was a priority to make sure that, it was accessible to all people. So we're in the midst of trying to create a contract with them and get that started. So there's as small as a gap as possible between the taxi program and this starting up. And there is another round of funding coming out soon. So hopefully we'll have a little time trying this out to see if this is worthwhile going in this direction or moving back towards the taxi program. But we are excited to try it. We definitely ran into some barriers using taxis in terms of availability and cost. So we're excited to see how this works. The other grant that's now pretty much up and running, thank you, Sue, for all your help with this, is the tablet grant. We finally received just under 100 iPads. We're working with our lovely Sue and the Needham Community Council to get that out to residents over 60 in the community. And the goal of the program is to see if that increases attendance in hybrid programming and also helps people feel more socially connected. So a big component of that is, yes, residents will be eligible to get an iPad if they're over 60, first come, first serve. But they will have to put up with some surveying from us to see if it's actually kind of changing their participation and impacting how connected they feel to the community. So we're really excited to get that up and running and to work with the community council on that as well. Other than that, in the volunteer world, our volunteers are still amazing, no change there. We couldn't do things without them. We've had a couple of volunteer, regular check-in meetings with the front desk and the boutique and the kitchen as well. And we're just, continually in awe of them and grateful. So that was my long-winded update. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Are there any questions of Jess?
No, I just wanted to add the GoGo Grandparent. Newton is using that for our program. So.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Latanya. And Watertown, I think, is moving in that direction.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
With good results?
yes.
Great, okay. Excellent, and Aisha and Steve, Stefan are not available. Is there anything?
For programming, just the update that, planning has, already began for November and December, and we had a meeting scheduled with the Treasury for the, credit card payment. That's gotta be rescheduled, but we are definitely moving forward.
Okay. Good. You happy with that, Dan?
I am happy.
Good, okay.
You know, yeah.
No, I know. It's important. and
I wanted to
you've
make
been-
sure you knew that the meeting
Right,
took,
right.
it's
Right.
gonna take place and we'll reschedule it, but
No,
yeah.
I'm happy.
So for savings of time, is there any questions on Latanya's director's report?
I have one small, so you effectively highlighted the number of people eating lunch here is really small.
Yeah.
It's really changed, you know, so it's not our program, it's Springwell's, but we're using a lot of resources to deliver the meals.
Yes, so we've been talking with, Springwell about it, and they said they have some suggestions to try to, increase people coming. A lot of people passed away too, that used to, our regulars that used to eat here, but they are very aware of it.
Yeah, I know, and you highlighted it in the thing, but I noticed it a few weeks ago and then saw your thing, so.
It isn't just because of the summer.
That may be it, but it's hard to tell. We'll have better numbers in the fall to see. Like some days definitely are higher, attended, and sometimes it depends on the meal that's being served too.
And about how many people are you getting for lunch?
It depends, like sometimes 16 to 20, sometimes 10 to 12. It just depends on the day.
You know, it used to be full. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was.
Well, I've heard that the meals aren't that great either.
Well, that's been the biggest
Yeah. well, so-
discussion, so that may be, yeah.
I will say too, if you factor in the grab and goes, we're still feeding a lot of people from Springwell though. Even though the in-person numbers are lower, if you look at the totals, it's still very high.
What is it now, Jess? Still about 60?
Yeah, it moves between like 60 and like 100. It's been up to 100, a little over in the winter. So I think like compared to before the pandemic, I would guess if we crunch the numbers, we're actually feeding more people. It's just a lot of them are choosing to get it at home.
Okay.
Do you still have to make your reservation the day ahead
Correct.
for lunch?
Yes. And that's a Springwell requirement.
Well, that's
Right,
no,
yes.
Okay, anything else on Latanya's report?
And we'll have our dinner bell and,
Yes, I wanted to ask you that. Do you need volunteers?
I
to
do,
serve?
yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, it's the same night as an exchange club meeting, the 26th, right?
Yes.
26th of
September.
September.
Yep, and it's in honor of, Senior Center Month too, so.
Okay. Senior Center Month. Are there
Oh, thank
any
you.
board members that would be available to help serve? That is next Thursday, a week from tonight. Right. Yes. Okay. Okay, well. Sorry.
Thank you for others that are gonna help, thank you.
Are those still selling out
Yes.
quickly?
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
o'clock, yeah, well, a little before people get here.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize that, they change our, board meetings, our exchange club meetings.
Do we have a sponsor for that, or is it?
Is there a sponsor for that?
No sponsor.
No, okay. Okay, there's an item about a volunteer for the annual meeting, which was the Friends annual meeting, which was actually last week.
Okay.
And I volunteered.
Thank you.
It was just, I'm sorry, my life has been like unbelievable for the last few weeks, so I apologize for not being up top of things. So I'd like to approve the minutes, and then we'll get on to some other things that need to be taken care of. So I'd like to approve the minutes of June 23rd. Anybody have a motion?
June 13th.
Okay. Are there any corrections, deletions, additions? What did I say?
No, that's what you said.
Oh.
I can't.
Oh, I can't either. I can't remember yesterday. Or I'm trying to wipe it out. I'm not sure which. Okay. May I have a vote on accepting the June minutes as written? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Colleen, who made the motion? This is Faith. I couldn't hear you. I'm so sorry. I have COVID, so that's why I'm on Zoom.
Okay, Ann Dematarosian made the motion, and I'm sorry, and Penny seconded.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Tim, I want to talk about the MBTA, but I know that you also want to talk about our priorities as far as the center goes. Do you have a preference as to which direction we go in at this point?
Whatever you want, either way. Okay, sorry, let's talk about MBTA first.
Okay. That's great. So we've had a meeting, which I truly can't remember if I talked with. There's just been so many meetings on the MBTA, and I've tried to go to as many as I can, both with the zoning board and I mean, Hone is kind of backed off at the moment. I mean, the point is that both programs that they sent into the MBTA have been approved by them with just a very few couple little things to change. So I went to the planning board meeting on the 5th, which was an open meeting, and there were a lot of people that got up and spoke, especially people from the Heights area, with concern about 100 West Street. And I don't know if anybody else attended or at least listened to that meeting. I know nobody else attended. Oh, you did, Ed. You sat right next to me. I kid you not. It's been a bad couple of weeks. So please, Ed, feel free to add anything as we're talking. But it was interesting. I mean, the big concern, I think, was that the planning board has kind of worked around the people, the owners, or the people who are interested in turning that into a housing project. And there was concern that the zoning has kind of been shifted to accommodate these people rather than what's best for the area. That work for you? And
I would say that's what the concern was.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't agree with it, but yes.
Well, I don't either, but that's what the people, you know, there were a number of people from the Heights that got up in that area that spoke about maybe we should wait, maybe we should look at that. Why are we, you know, kind of leaning towards an organization just because we want that building filled, but we want that building filled. So that's still kind of, and I don't think, I believe the planning board meeting had another meeting last week, which unfortunately I didn't attend. Did you?
No.
No.
They did have a discussion, I think, on Tuesday this week, and they didn't make a decision.
Right, that's what I was going to say. That no decision was made. Whether they're going in, well, they need to make one
have
They
to
mean
send
to make
something
a
to town meeting by the
26th?
24th, I think.
24th, okay.
Yeah.
And they're meeting on the 24th, which given their ability to make decisions seems odd to me, but whatever.
On the 24th, okay. I will try to attend that meeting.
I think they're going to advance something in the order of a base compliance plan and what's called a neighborhood plan, which is more housing. Both of them, as Colleen said, will pass sort of the minimum requirements for the state, and it will sort of be up to town meeting to say, okay, we've passed the base compliance plan, now let's have a real discussion of whether we want to do more or not.
Right. I don't think there's a lot of opposition to the base plan. I think it's the neighborhood plan that people are starting to get a little anxious about. And I really felt at that meeting on the 5th that, and I did mention that as a board that we were in favor of these plans. But I said, in reality, and I wasn't quite as eloquent as I am right now, that it's going to be a while before this stuff is built. And people have to, people seem to think that, within a week, we are going to have 8,000 apartments in Needham or, whatever. And I don't know how we get across to the general public that this isn't going to happen. And who knows if it ever will happen, what will be done.
I mean, I think one of the great examples is the Bertucci's Plaza, right?
Yes.
That's a prime area that could be redeveloped.
Right.
But the owner just signed a 10-year lease with Conrad's, and they're doing a ton of work inside to fill it out.
Right.
And he said, I've got buildings that are making money. I've committed to people. I'd have to buy them out of their leases. I'd have to do all this, and the challenge is there aren't people who own as big a plot as that. Most of the other things are small landlords that own a parcel here and a parcel there. And you need some serious parcel aggregation to actually get a big building.
And the idea of putting apartments on top of the businesses in Needham down, on any one of the, whether it's
Chapel.
I'm sorry.
Chapel.
Yeah. I mean, that has been something that was brought up. I don't know if any of you remember Bill Tadalli. He tried getting that done, and he's been,
by the movie theater.
he passed away years ago.
Right.
So this is not something new. Of course, we have a lot of, people that were around when Bill was around pushing this, but, it's not something that's going to happen within a year of passing this. It's a zoning change. It's only a zoning change.
I think, we were involved with the Avery building originally.
Yes.
Even if everything goes through, to get a developer who can make that work financially is not going to be easy.
I mean, yes, they made a change so that they could put another floor on.
Yeah, right. But they were going to add on the original plan that we rejected.
Exactly.
And the neighborhood wasn't that.
But the point was that the original plan that we were opposed to was for.
There was no independent.
It wasn't, there was no independent.
Right, exactly.
But this is apartments. This is not.
No, I agree.
So,
and it's a shame that building is empty for this many years.
Oh,
so the concern is traffic and,
So I look at this whole project, I lump it with the Sagamore Bridge. Not happening in my lifetime.
I mean, you kind of begin to wonder, well, really, that's good. Yeah.
It's just like all those properties on Chestnut Street and railroad tracks. That whole area could be completely redeveloped. You get apartment buildings, stores underneath it, and everything else. The problem is it's all broken up into small parcels. Somebody's got to assemble a large parcel in order to do that.
Right.
And it's not going to happen, as you say, in our lifetime.
If they could do the Avery building, it's a gigantic site.
Yes.
In terms of number of apartments.
But to stand there and have, I mean, there was this huge discussion about whether you could see the cars parked in the garage or not. Really? And I said to Ed, I think I said it to you, we got a parking lot with the MBTA across the street. We can see all those cars. Well, I don't understand people yet.
Well,
Anyway.
I understand it. The people that live on Hillside, the street to the right in there, you know, I think are where the, you know, the concerned about the
There's
neighborhood.
opposition coming
Yeah,
from those
yeah.
streets. That
And the people like on Morton Street and, you know, those people that are gonna be coming.
You know, when they're across the way, they're not much affected. They may think they're a lot affected, but they're.
Right. So anyway, we need to, what I'm asking is to make sure that we come in front of town meeting. And I will ask if I can speak, because I'm not a town meeting member, believe it or not.
But you're, yeah, for how many years but you're a resident.
Yeah, yes. And being chair of this board, I can ask if I can, Michael Fee, if I could speak, and he usually does. So Tim has come up with a policy, which I apologize, did not forward to me.
That's okay.
But I will. I think it's a little more than what we want to say, but you and I can talk about it. I will forward this to everybody, and if there's comments, you know, get back to both myself and maybe copy Tim on it, and you and I can sit down at some point.
It was just a start.
Right. I think the beginning of it is what I personally would like to but then we get into a little more than I'm willing to stand up and say. But I don't know whether you'll be allowed to speak on this.
I probably won't, but the Board of Health is considering taking a public position and sending like a letter to the community, for lack of a better word. The COA in the past, at least when it's come to accessory dwelling units, has said housing is important. We want seniors to stay in the community, therefore we support this. So it was an attempt to sort of put down to paper, you know, we're in favor of these ideas and maybe some of the specifics need working out the general idea that the COA would say housing is important for seniors who are in favor of it generally.
Do we think there's an issue of it passing now?
I think the first one will pass.
Yeah, I don't think there's any serious opposition to the base plan. Right. When you get into the neighborhood plan, you start on different people's locales. And so there's some opposition, which we caught at that meeting in Fifth. But I honestly think even that will pass now.
Well, you know, it's the whole town. It's not concentrated in one section of people who might be opposed. So.
Exactly.
True.
But depending on how you look at it, you offend everybody a little bit.
Right.
Instead of offending a small group of people a lot.
This is legal, it's bound to bother somebody.
Right. So I would ask for a motion that this board is in full approval of both plans. Maybe I should do it.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there a number of those? Is it plan 1 and plan 2? I can't even remember.
And the base compliance.
Base, yes, thank
and
you.
then the neighborhood plan. Base compliance, I think, was about, they project if fully built out, which I think is the
17
right. If someone manages to buy all of the parcels and knock everything down and build all new things, which is unlikely, it would be like 1,700.
Right, and then the other one goes into like 24.
I thought it was 33. Yeah. So
what is it? 34.
34, something like that.
All right.
So you know, not 100% more, but close, like 80 something percent more.
Right. Okay. So may I have a motion to go before town meeting with the support of the Council on Aging for the base plan?
I'll make that.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Is there discussion? Hearing none, can we call for a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
What is the date of that?
Sorry, Colleen, I can't hear who's doing the motions on can you just give me the names if you don't mind? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Ed made the motion.
Yep.
I don't remember who said it. Helen seconded it.
Okay, thank you.
What's the date of town meeting?
October.
I'm saying 1 sec. Versus 21st. So
It's October.
October 21st, Monday, October 21st.
I'm gonna send this out so you can see what Tim has proposed as a policy for this board. So would you prefer to vote on the neighborhood plan until after you see?
I think we need more details on the neighborhood plan
Okay.
before I'm personally.
Okay.
So if it's helpful, Colleen and the board, I can send what I sent to the Board of Health as a packet, which includes a very detailed presentation and some backup materials. I would say if you want to go through all of it, it's hundreds of pages of diagrams, of charts, of tables.
Right.
So is there a question?
And I have that packet, but to be honest with you, I got about 3/4 of the way through and said.
It's not 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
So the question that I have is, what is the planning board going to send to the town? And are we approving what the planning board is?
No, we're not approving what the plan. No, we're approving the plan as it stands today.
Right, so the planning board is thinking about tweaks, but as I understand it, those are very minor tweaks.
They're very, as far as the base plan goes.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking the second.
Right, there are some things, that's why I want to go to their meeting.
Yeah.
Because they haven't made any decisions as to.
So I think your meeting as the COA will be before, in October, will be before town
Yes.
meeting. So
Yes,
you
it
could
will.
wait. You could either wait to vote then, or you could get more information after the planning board's next meeting and then vote over email or something like that.
Right, the planning board's next meeting is has to be before town meeting.
Right.
Sure.
Our meeting is the 12th, because I know. No,
October.
it's that Thursday.
So we can wait and get the information, have a further discussion. Everybody can try and phone up on what's happening, and good luck to you because it's taken me. After a while, you kind of get, and it just.
Colin, what's the date of the planning board meeting that they're going to, you're going to, they're going to,
I'll tell you in 1 second. Is it this Tuesday?
No, I don't know what to do.
No, hold on. Yeah, I'll get it.
I think you said the 24th, that's the same day that it's.
Our meeting is the 10th.
It could be the, yeah, and that will, the 24th of this month. 24th of October. It was right before the thing. That doesn't sound right. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I don't think they're meeting tonight.
24th?
No, I mean, yeah, I think it's the 24th.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the deadline to sort of finalize something to send to the select board to include for town meeting is the 24th.
Yes, so they have to make a decision.
You know, they've often had to make a decision on that.
I know, and actually go into town meeting with no decision.
Yes.
So, all right, so it's the 24th.
September.
Yes.
Tuesdays.
Maybe hybrid.
Probably, they always are. Okay.
So I just went on the town website. So that's us getting out of regularly scheduled, special meeting.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't.
Yeah, right, because they couldn't make a decision
Right.
on the 17th.
Okay. Anything else? That's subject. All right. Tim?
So we had a meeting, Colleen, Latanya and I, with the town manager and the chairs, chair and vice chair of the select board. And did talk about some of generally our priorities. And some things like, you know, IT support, replacement of technology, credit card processing. But the main focus was the parking spaces, which are moving forward, although at the pace of the MBTA. So you think the MBTA would want the money? They're holding it together with spit and chewing gum and stuff. So, but it is moving forward slowly.
But it's getting close. It's
yes.
getting
Very close. So
yes. Yes. The last, yeah, the last I heard it was very close.
Yes.
It was kind of like we're waiting for him to sign a piece of paper or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was about parking and sort of making sure that that actually happens, and we've put all the pressure we can put on the MBTA, and it's done that. The town manager's done that, and it was about the priorities for building renovation here. There's a lot of capital projects that the town is trying to do. It's trying to you know, finish the Emery Grover, right? It looks really nice to me from the outside. They're trying to get ready to do a new Pollard Middle School, possibly 6 to 8, then like redo the High Rockets Elementary School, and there's lots of sort of complicated things. Both the library and the CAF are, you know, relatively new in the vein of long-term town buildings, but are starting to show their age in some respects. And both the library and CAF have some options for, want to put some options for improvements. You know, getting a really nice, actually, but getting a new TV on the wall is not what we're talking about, but like a, you know, even more than, we've worked with the new director of IT, he's going to put a number of sort of audio visual system upgrades in his budget for CAF. But the big structural changes in the building, that's what we're talking about for capital. They wanted the board to reconfirm the vote you took last year or change the vote you took last year about what you want us to put forward. By us, I mean Latanya and myself, in the budget process. The budget for capital items is due October 4th, so there's still plenty of time. We had put in last year Taylor might be looking for you across the hall.
Okay. Yep.
We put in last year, and the town does things in sort of 2 stages. Design money that takes a year, almost a year, and then goes back to town meeting and says, here's the plan, here's how much it'll cost, here's the process. Do you approve money for construction? Not always, but town meeting usually approves money for construction if they've approved money for design. Sometimes with some significant modifications, but generally if you get the design money, you've got a decent chance of getting the construction. We had put in last year in fiscal year 26, so not the current fiscal year, but the fiscal year that will begin July 1st, 2025, for design money for the kitchen and a handicap accessible rear entrance. We put in for construction money for that in fiscal year 27. We put in design money in fiscal year 28 for an activated deck and a renovated fitness and game room. And we put in construction in 29 for the deck and the fitness and game room. That was what you had sort of prioritized. And I know you last year you sort of said we'd like all of them. And the answer was,
I thought we prioritized the fitness room first.
No, we did the kitchen because of the hospital.
Yeah, because of the Beth Israel thing, which has gone away.
It's gone away, yeah.
But it
Yes, it has, but
it
it has
hasn't
gone away.
Yeah, for now.
No, we don't
They
know
have to pay
that.
taxes
Also-
if they don't do it, and they don't want to pay taxes.
At our meeting, Kate felt quite confident that that wasn't going to happen, that the hospital wasn't going to give it up in the near future. We're all still saying, yeah, sure. But, I mean, that's something we can't control.
yeah.
So
the question sort of is, do you want to change your mind? Do you want to say to, or have Latanya and I say to the town, well, okay, we're going to re-put in what we put in last year, or we're going to put in a different plan, or we're going to say we want to do the kitchen and the accessible entrance, but we also want to do the fitness room, or kind of mix and match. Do we want to do, so the reason the accessible entrance was with the fitness room was to try to achieve some savings because you'd be working in the same part of the building at the same time. And obviously the fitness and the game room, you'd be working in the same part of the building at the same time. But we could try to submit a new thing that is larger. We could try to just do the fitness and game room and then leave the deck and the entrance and the kitchen for later. It's sort of, you know, you get a second bite at the apple to say, what's your priority as the forward?
How sure are you that the hospital isn't going to renege on their deal?
I don't think they're going to renege it next year or two. But again, we're talking about.
Well, so if the hospital reneges on the deal, it shouldn't take away from what we need to do here. It's a new item that the town is putting on us. So I don't think that should be a priority. You know, I think this is speech probably gonna get everybody mad. I think we're all negligent in this room. We've identified 5 years ago the needs and haven't done anything. The town spent $75,000 3 years ago. That reaffirmed what we said. We should have been all over the town officials the last 3 years. I think only recently have we started to do that.
I was just gonna ask, wasn't that the design phase 3 years ago?
That's feasibility.
So there was, we did get money from Denise, from the state, $60,000. So, something like that for redesigning the kitchen.
We did. We also got money going a little further back for a use study. What is utilized well at CAF, what is not. You know, is the fitness room popular? Yes, popular. Is the other room, you know, empty? Yes, it is. So we have both of those reports, and I can send them again.
Well, the $75,000 study, you know, I mentioned the computer room, for example.
Right. Yes.
What was the timing of the fitness room? In terms of the design, construction?
Right now,
way too far out.
Well, for the capital plan, it's pretty close, but capital plans are very far out. So we are currently in fiscal year 25. This would be submitting, you know, October 4th for the fiscal year, you know, that will go through the whole process and town manager and the finance committee and town meeting for the fiscal year that will begin July 1. So fiscal year 26, what we had us put in was kitchen and accessible rear entrance, handicap accessible rear entrance. For design in 26, construction in 27. And then design in 28 was going to be the fitness room, the game room swap, and the activated deck. And construction of that fitness room, game room, and activated deck was going to be in 29, school year 29. So we're talking about, things that are 3 and 5 years away if everything goes right and the funding's available and it's approved.
And in terms of the meals, who is that serving?
So right now, Traveling Meals, and I think and Jess isn't here, but it's worth a longer term discussion. Traveling Meals has existed for a long time. It serves disabled and homebound needed residents.
Of any age.
Of any age. There's often like 1 or 2 people that are under 65, although usually not that far under 65. But the super majority are seniors and or people with disabilities. The CAF program, I gotta be honest, I have, from my public health regulatory hat, we've never held them to the same delivery and food safety standards that we hold Traveling Meals to, because it would start to unravel. It's safe-ish, but it doesn't meet the same standards.
Sorry, Tim, what did you say? It doesn't, what standard?
We don't hold you guys to quite the same standard we do for Traveling Meals.
Mm-hmm.
You guys do a lot more volume, because Traveling Meals, we're talking usually about at maximum 50 a day. And I thought you guys were between 70 and 110, right?
Like 60 and 100, but yeah, same idea.
60 and 100.
Yeah, same idea.
I do think long-term we have to figure out, is that something we want to do for, I do think long-term we want to figure out, do we want to give meals to any senior who's interested for home delivery, or do we want to do it just for homebound and disabled people? Do we want to sort of push seniors to come in to the social location to have lunch, or not? And if the answer is we want to deliver to any senior who wants their lunch at home, that's okay, but I think we need to maybe then figure out how we do that on a consistent basis. I think it is pretty resource intensive right now. It relies on paid drivers. The Traveling Meals program relies on volunteer drivers, but paid drivers during the summer. There could be some efficiencies in figuring it out, but I think we've sort of left it as a status quo because there are sort of so many challenges coming out of the pandemic, and it was one of the bright spots of the aging services staff pivoted really quickly and developed a program that met and still meets needs for a lot of people in the community.
Tim, could I just jump in? I do think they're totally different programs, but I just want to be careful about the idea of like holding people kind of hostage to the idea that they have to come in to get meals to the senior center, because I do think we're reaching a different population of people that like probably wouldn't have come to the senior center to begin with, that are food insecure, but not necessarily homebound. Particularly a lot of people at the housing authority that can get out here and there, but we're adding an extra supplemental meal. And also just to add that our meals, we're paying our drivers to deliver, but we're not paying for the actual meals themselves.
Yeah, and that is an important difference too. I do think it's a realm we stepped into during COVID that there was no choice during COVID. It wasn't a conscious decision that the professional staff, the board, the finance people said, we need to expand into this area and we're going to give you enough resources to do it. Mm-hmm. Honestly, was aging services kind of making, chicken salad out of, what, and making something work. I do think you're absolutely right that food insecurity is on the rise. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons that I'm interested in food service here, but it's a big ask because it's talking about a capital project that will cost, $1 million+ all said and done. And then between a combination of volunteers and paid staff running basically a small restaurant. Right. I think there's things that we could do with that, especially for food insecurity. I think some communities have really great programs, but it might not be the right thing for Needham, or it might not be the right thing then.
Yeah, just concerned just because our volume has stayed pretty high, that to me, and this is just my opinion, so take it or leave it, shows that there is a need that people, COVID may have ended, but like our numbers haven't dropped that much. So, the food may not be great or might be a different standard, but people are still accepting it. So I just want to keep that on the table for everyone to hear, but I totally hear your perspective as well, Tim.
And I'm sorry if I tried to minimize it. I think there is absolutely a need there. We just never said, hey, there's a need and hey, we need resources to do it. We've sort of been figuring out how to do it all along and to some extent sort of pulling money from other things to make it happen. Again, not a ton, but for example, we pay van drivers to drive the food. That's the only way it would happen. I totally get that, but that wasn't originally part of what we had decided to do, and we made a very understandable decision to do it, but it wasn't sort of a deliberate process to say, we think this is an area of growth, we think it's an area of need of seniors, and we need to get the resources from the town to be able to make it happen.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I think internally it has been a discussion, and I think, you know, just balancing that with the fact that the number of people using our vans in general is down.
Really?
So that's been like an added bonus, you know. Originally this was an opportunity to give our paid drivers work during COVID when we weren't driving people, but, you know, I think, and Stefan can confirm, but less people are taking the van to and from the center. Less people are grocery shopping, so, but the amount of people requesting meals has still remained high. So I totally hear all sides to this. I just want to make sure that that's sort of a perspective on the table in the discussion.
Jess?
Yep.
Is that something that just recent, like during the summer months, or is that been in decline, say, in the last year?
The ride piece?
Yes.
I think Stefan would be able to answer that better, but I think, you know, as a result of COVID, I would say. Like, we used to run shopping trips to the grocery store 3 days a week, twice a day. We don't have a volume of people that want that anymore.
Interesting.
Like to Roach Brothers and Sudbury Farms, at least. Market Basket, you know, holds its own, I think. But
does that have anything to do with the fact that we charge now?
I don't think so. That's not what I'm hearing. But with Tanya and Stefan, you probably would know better than me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, in regard to the lunch deliveries and stuff, during COVID, I definitely think we did the right thing. We had to do it. I think there's something that's missing when you do that. When people opt for the easiest route to get their food, you lose the sociability of all those people meeting down there at the lunchroom and talking to one another and bringing people together in this facility. And then maybe they do some other things at the same time.
Well, Tanya sent me a, it's not my fault. She just she's trying to set up that moment. She's got she's on this board meeting. She wanted to tell you.
I will try to help with that and I'll be back.
Okay.
And there's a definite place for that lunch program. I've said to people, I eat some lunch program. I agree. Okay, the foods like eating when I was in college, eating college cafeteria, or army food. But the point is, meals are nutrition. If I was living on my own, simple person, I know what I need that, and I probably find that. I think we need to then, yes, serve the people who can't come here on a regular basis, but encourage people to come. And sometimes you put yourself in this little hole. You just don't want to leave home. You don't want to keep going. And that just means.
That's what I feel about in-house and Zoom programming that we do. I would like to do away with the Zoom programming. You know, anyway.
Totally.
Dan was before you. Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Okay.
I thought that was the primary purpose of lunches. Not as much to, yes, we can have a balanced meal, it's healthy and all that, but that could happen outside of the center. But what is not happening, what can't happen outside is that social aspect to you guys speak so I'm less interested in of an eating than, some food, then we will eat more. And that's my feeling. So I would like to have that recognized as this is why we do this. It's to have the social as well as the nutrition issues.
I'm gonna go bold. Why do we need to make a decision? Why can't we do more than one?
So we can always try, and that's a risk, right? So there's got to be money to support both, you know, and I don't
agree.
None of this is guaranteed, right? It needs to go through all the different layers of the town, and you know. But
personally, I feel like the CAP is underfunded significantly. And I feel that the volume of seniors in this town is quite high, almost as high as the school children.
You didn't hear about our $316 million addition to the center?
So I think, you know, in terms of, I think the seniors, older adults in town are often not seen and not heard. And they may not be speaking up, which is another thing. But when I look at the numbers and older adults are roughly the same as school-age children, we should have some of that money. I mean, that budget, I believe it was 94 million. And this budget is 1 million. I mean, that's ageism. That is ageism. So I don't know who we need to talk to or what we need to do, but you know, I look at the fitness center and I look at the pictures of people in chairs, around pool tables, doing yoga. That's an accident waiting to happen. Who gets sued when the town?
The town.
The town will get sued. So we're ignoring safety risk. Totally agree with the food. But broadly speaking, they all should be done. I mean, we talked about the door years ago. I don't know if we're still talking about the cover to the dumpster, but that was years ago. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know if that's the finance committee, if that's...
I would suggest that the COA could choose to invite, for example, the select board chair or vice chair to come to the next meeting if they're available, or the finance committee chair, and you know, have some of this discussion. I do think we have the option of changing what we put in last year, and we have the option of asking for, you know, all the design money now and then construction money spread out over 2 or 3 years, or you know, reordering it or something. And I don't think that's inappropriate.
And then the question is the kitchen first? The hospital's still going to be doing it, or do we push that down a couple of years?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I totally agree that there's been no attention to seniors in the town. And I think we're just now waking up the select board and everybody to the issues. A couple of things. So nothing is that we're spending, I know it's capital budget, but we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on train whistles. The seniors aren't the ones complaining about the train whistles. We've lived with them for 40 years. It's the people in the $3 million homes. We need to focus more on the seniors. There was the average median family income in Needham is over $200,000. 90% of the seniors are making less than that. There's been no town focus on the seniors, and we have to do everything possible. And I think the fitness center is at a crucial, dangerous position. That needs to be addressed as quickly as anything. I would put it at the top of the list. You know, when there's 16 people in there at 9:15, I have the pictures. It's dangerous.
I do think,
you know, as physicians, one last thing. Physicians are now recommending people doing rehab to come to the fitness center because
that's been happening for years.
We have supervised,
Since we opened, they've been doing that. So,
exactly.
You know,
You know, so I think that's got to be the #1 priority.
I do think that the challenge when we're talking about capital plans is that even immediate on a capital plan is 3 years from completion.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, because there is such a problem right now with occupancy at the fitness center. We've had a discussion about different ways that we can alleviate that for the time being. Nobody's gonna like it, because we are either going to limit the number of people that are in there at any given time. We're gonna possibly ask for people to sign up for certain hours. They're not gonna like that because they're used to walking in, and whenever they feel like they got 10 minutes to do something. But it's a way for, there's a few ways that we can alleviate some of that crowded condition with some of these steps.
I would just push back. I don't know why the seniors have to do it. Why do they have to make their adjustments when there is plenty of money in this town?
But the point is, Sue, they might be plenty of money in the town, but to get anything done, it's not gonna happen tomorrow. It's 3 years from now, hopefully, if we can push hard enough. It's just not gonna change. So we have to be able to take steps for safety reasons alone to prevent that kind of thing. And the fact is,
the select board has to also recognize that I would suggest that the most significant proportion of voters in town, especially in local elections, are sitting people like us sitting in this room.
exactly. And
if
it wasn't,
you don't make us happy.
and it wasn't too long ago that the population of seniors was above the population of the school-age children.
Well, they're being forced to move out.
I didn't either. I was surprised that did change. So,
So the one change that I think the biggest congestion at the fitness center is from 9 to 10. If the fitness center opened at 8:30 when the center opened, that would be a big help.
that was one of the suggestions that we had. That was one of the things that we talked about doing, opening it a little bit earlier. And if that helps, fine. If it doesn't, then maybe we need to limit the number of people that are in there.
I think that would be a good
And or
first step.
have people sign up for certain times.
I think we're opening up soon.
But that was something we had to talk to Steve about. That's not, he is the one that has to basically decide that he's willing to go in there and open that center.
He has to talk to the people who have criteria that he has to live by, even if he wants.
It changes his hours, which changes his billing to the town and so on and so forth.
Tanya and I can find that money. It's more about, does he want to start earlier and get the staffing to start earlier or stay later?
Right.
I want to add the fact that we're also looking at classes that is very much hot for a fitness center. And some of those classes happen where the equipment is very unsafe, but they're popular, they're crowded, and it's difficult to turn a person away who wants to go to this fitness class. More of them happen in the so-called pool room.
It's a game room.
The game room.
I'll fight that to my dying day.
More of them happen in the game room. And those exercises are just top-notch classes, except that we have to compete with the pool tables, the ping pong tables, and the rest of the equipment that is necessary in that.
So why isn't the ping pong table closed up while there's another class?
I stand corrected. Steve does follow that up. But we can't move the pool.
We obviously have more programs than we have space.
Yes.
And that was one of the other options that we hadn't put on the capital plan yet, was the idea of, could you renovate the basement into some type of space, whether that's a billiard and ping pong room, or that's a card room, and then repurpose things up here. But you start to have to figure out, like, you can't do all these things in isolation. You've got to figure out what is the pattern that makes sense collectively.
Is the basement sound contained nicely? Does it have a floor?
It would have to be renovated.
Right. it has to be renovated, but it was built to be able to put stuff down there.
And you could put a restaurant.
We have to put restrooms in there.
Right.
The ceiling is low. That's one of the challenges if you're playing pool. Move your cue around.
You could do ping pong.
Or I don't know. I think casinos don't have windows, right?
Right.
Why do you need windows if you're playing mahjong or bridge? You just go down there. We can allow smoking down there. It's fine.
We can put in a bar,
Wow.
right?
Oh, yeah, tons of people in that.
So are we going to discuss whether we want to change the
We need,
priority?
right, we need to talk about, we need to have a firm decision about changing the priority. And I know when I talked to Tim also, because of the parking lot that was being, the changes made in our parking lot, let alone the MBTA lot, where we're moving the generator across the hall, the way, and so on and so forth. And the, compared to everything else, minor amount of money to put in the accessible door at the CAF, is that something that we'd be able to do right away?
And could we link the accessible door with the fitness and game? Or does it, I mean, I understand your logic in terms of area.
We can. I think the question is some of the cost efficiencies by, like, okay, you're going to be knocking down this wall, keeping the kitchen and the back entrance at the same time. We also haven't talked about during construction, there will be very significant impacts to seniors. I guess what I'm looking for is sort of, do you want, and I'll sort of say 3 options, to keep the status quo, to change the order and say we're going to do the fitness room and the deck first, we request money for that, and then sort of on the same time frame that we talked about. So 26, 27 would be fitness room and deck, 28, 29 would be kitchen and accessible door. Or do you want to try to say, no, we think this is a real priority, we need you to find the money for seniors, we want to do the design money for all these things in fiscal 26, and we want construction in 27 and 28.
I think that's what
Why
we should
not?
ask for.
Yep. And as
The
far as
answer why not is we're asking for a lot, they might say no.
But the point, as far as the deck goes, I don't think the deck it's a priority, but I don't think it can be lumped in with some of these other things. We've been able to get money to do things on the deck that we wanted to do, donations. The Friends have been good about doing things.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to be able to use the deck more, and we can do it with some of the donations that we've already received. We've got a meeting to look into an awning. We got money to replace tables that need to be replaced. So I think the deck is
even this year the deck's better because you have umbrellas.
Well, we've always had umbrellas.
Well, they weren't used that much.
Well, we've always had them.
Yeah.
And the grill is fixed, the cabinetry, so you can go out and
so I think,
agree.
I mean, I know the deck needs a different floor and there's other things that need to be done, but I just don't see that. I think the things that need to be done out there can be done through other means. I don't think we need separate little curtains so people can sit on a couch and have private conversations. I'm sorry, that was just beyond what I could handle. I think there's certain basics that we need on the deck, and I think, in my opinion anyway, that it can be handled through other sources.
Well, I agree in the efficiencies of combining projects. It doesn't outweigh what I think would be advantage of all of our efforts into one project. So it doesn't seem like more likely to happen if we focus on one, taking efficiency aside. We, I think, would all agree that we're not going to get everything. We're not going to. Priorities are not going to be. So that's my opinion.
I think that's a good point. The one thing I'd caution is, I don't think the money gets easier in the future. So it's always a little bit easier to say, well, we can figure that out later, but with the timing of Pollard and other things, it's not like we'll just get through these 2 lean years, there's going to be plenty. It's going to be, there's lean years and then there's leaner years and there's leanest years.
Yeah, I think we sort of missed the opportunity where there was money during COVID. I think it's going to be very tough on the towns fiscally going forward.
I think we should ask for more than they expect to get.
Right, no, I agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we need to recognize, I think the fitness center's got to be, if we get, it's got to just be top. And I totally agree with Colleen about that.
I do too.
So would you like a proposal that asks for design money for the fitness room, game room swap, the accessible entrance, and the kitchen?
Yes.
So,
And then maybe we have to settle for less?
yeah, so I always thought that the fitness game room swap was a couple $100,000. And that didn't seem to me that that was a gigantic capital project.
I think lighting's gonna be that.
It's hard for me because we escalated the numbers out with the projects we had previously, but the costs, and again, this was in 28, 29, for the fitness room and deck were 120 for design and 545 for construction. And that's escalated out, and there's all kinds of assumptions that go into what the costs are going to be, what the inflation is every year, blah, blah, blah. So
if we take the deck out of that.
Right. So the relative numbers, and this is, again, I think these are 23 numbers, so it's not exactly right. The kitchen was by far the most expensive thing. That was $900. The fitness and gaming were just under 300, or no, 270. Yeah, 270 something. Vestibule was just under 300, like 298. The renovate the basement was 750,000. Roof deck is 177. Doing a cafe lounge, which is a big thing in some new senior centers, was 600. So
it's still on top of oh, yeah.
I agree.
What's that in the grand scheme of things?
That is very small.
So yes, but that's I can put in whatever you want, and I can help try to gather data for that. But that's a political fight you
are happy to have.
So I'm going to voice yes that we proceed as we agree, but whatever our final determination is, then we also make a commitment to pursuing this politically. Like we need to invite the right people, have the right conversation.
Yeah, if we bring in the chair and vice chair of the select board and the finance committee at the same time.
Yes.
You know,
to make the case. Yeah, and get behind us and make it happen. Like,
I agree.
This is ridiculous.
I think we should do that, and I
All the
think we should aim for like November. I don't think we should do it. October looks pretty busy for everybody in this town. I think we need to go November, December, something.
How does that fit in with the?
Well, we would be for the next budget year anyway.
You need to tell me tonight what you want me to put in. Then we have time to tweak, right? If we put something in and we say, oh, actually, we wanted to change this line, or it's slightly different, that's fine. But as long as we get roughly in what you want, so then we can have a discussion about it.
We want, obviously, I think we're all in favor of the fitness center. Is the kitchen second? The handicapped accessible is, I think, got to be right there.
It does.
Or can that be done without the capital budget?
No, 300,000 at least for the handicap accessible entrance.
So I think we put in for everything with the exception of the deck.
And then we negotiate from there.
Yeah.
And we look at fight.
Yep. We persuade, educate, and persuade.
Yep.
Oh, this would be a lot of work for this board, but we're talking about how many seniors there are as compared to the children. What we should do, if we want to do it, is identify all the seniors and get them all going.
That's not easy.
I started off that way. I'm saying that it's going to be a big job to do it. If there are a lot of seniors, it's going to get them all together. We could then, print up some information, see what we want to do this, so that when something comes up for a vote, we have all the seniors. We were talking about how many seniors vote It's mostly the seniors that want to do. Well, let's educate the seniors as to what we are really doing.
Is there a database of all the seniors?
Isn't it in the Snoopy book? Don't they have your birth year in the
It's
Snoopy
in the
book?
Snoopy.
I'm sure we could, I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
imagine that we can't get that from
Because they can tell you
the
how many
town clerk.
school children.
Exactly.
They can tell you how many seniors.
Right.
And they always start work getting memorized.
If I could offer one word, I think, and I wasn't here for this. Other town projects have not had to raise money to get built. And I think that that is a point that the previous select board, this current select board seems more sensitive maybe to that. Like, we asked the seniors to do this, we haven't asked anyone else to do that. Why did we do that?
We're asking the seniors to support the seniors. Makes no.
Yeah, you know, okay, we'll build you a building, but you got to pay for the roof on your own.
I don't think I don't think what we're talking about contacting the seniors is for fundraising.
No.
But I'm saying when you're making the argument,
We've already done that. We raised 11 years ago. We raised $400,000.
Yep.
A lot of us sitting here did that.
But I also think if you're trying to make the argument that seniors are about the same population as school children and stuff, one of the things that is an argument in your favor is that when you built this building, you told us we had to, you know, go out on the corner and collect money. You haven't done that for any other project.
Right. Because
DPW doesn't have to, you know, have their, you know, plow truck and ask people to chip in a nickel in the bed every time they build it.
exactly, right. And they just had a big event at the golf club.
People are more aware, and we're counting on that.
Yes.
But even if we got something out to the seniors, at least to motivate them to write to the select board or write to the finance committee or, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, even, I mean, there's an audience here too. Like who's coming for lunch and who's going to exercise and who's attending.
You have to remember though that there are a number of people here who are not needed residents.
Yeah.
So to call, you know,
Yeah,
and
right.
we've certainly tried to have a few things that are going on in Needham. For instance, the housing.
Yeah.
We brought in the Needham Housing Authority group, I call it the private group, but the other, it's a citizens group. We had 6 people. It was embarrassing.
So I remember when we were building this building, we were afraid to do an override because we weren't even sure all the seniors would vote for it.
Well, overrides were not popular.
Right. But I think, yeah, I agree we need to mobilize. It's not easy, but we need it. So do you want us to make a motion?
I would like you to make a motion, and I guess my suggestion is the board officially votes to prioritize funding for design and construction for the handicap accessible entrance, the fitness room, and the kitchen. And you want it submitted design in 26 and construction in 27. Then maybe they say, well, we can't give you all that, but we can give you design for all of it, and construction has to be spread out over 2 or 3 years. Or they say, yes, we can give you design and construction for these things, but we can't for that. That'll have to go back to 28, 29.
Okay. What did he say?
What did he say? I was going to say,
I made that
if Faith got that, that could be the motion.
Sure. And I'll second that.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Faith.
No, because the sound is not very good at this end. It's like I'm hearing Tim, but I'm not hearing people at the other end.
Important one is fine.
And other people on this end. Sorry, Tim.
Basically made a motion
To prioritize the design and construction of the handicapped entrance and the kitchen.
And the
fitness room.
But put Dan makes the motion.
Yeah, Dan makes the motion. I was just helping word it.
Yeah, I heard the wording part. And then who seconded it, please?
Cosgrove.
Does it make a difference what we put first, the fitness room?
So I will put them in one combined budget submission, and then you're not likely to get anything you don't ask for, right? If you only ask for this, that's the maximum you're gonna get. If you ask for this, there's a chance you get half of that, or all of it, but they're not gonna voluntarily give you more than you ask for.
We have not voted on this
Which
motion.
one you mentioned first?
Yeah.
Put in alphabetical order.
I guess I was thinking alphabetical order. I was thinking of leading with accessibility at some level because that makes a ton of sense. Why are all the handicap parking spaces really far away from the handicap accessible door? So it doesn't make any sense. It still doesn't.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this motion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, thank you.
Can't wait to hear the outcome.
Tim's gonna go home.
Sorry, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
I will send the packet about the MBTA communities.
Great, thank you.
And I will obviously work with LaTanya on the capital budget submission, but we will send this board obviously a full copy of everything. And we'll let you know about important dates like when the hearing is with the town manager, when the hearing is with the finance committee. I do think the finance committee doesn't get a lot of public interaction. So I don't think they're as used to say no to people.
Who's the chair this year?
Carol Smith this year.
No,
Carol. Yeah. Okay. Thank you all very much.
Okay.
I know
Thank
that was a
you, Tim.
significant part of
Appreciate
your
it.
agenda. I'm sorry about that.
Let's see. We haven't approved. Did I approve the minutes?
Yeah.
I usually try to check things off. So okay. Would you like to update us on the Friends?
Oh, sure. I would be glad to. So you will never believe this. I had submitted an application to Panera's and heard nothing. And it was wicked hard to try to find the company that now owns Panera's. Anyway, so after research, I was successful, put the application in. Okay, so let's see, from May, heard nothing. June, heard nothing. July, I started doing visits to the Panera's over here in Needham and asked to talk with the manager. I made 5 visits at different times. I spoke with 5 different managers. And on Saturday, when I went in, they said the general manager has approved for the CAF to get the donation, well, day old. Right. Sounds awful. No, day old right. Dough, DOUGH, nations. So I'm picking them up on Monday night and Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. And then I'm bringing them here Tuesday morning and Thursday morning. This morning, the bag, it took up the whole trunk of my car. I've never seen so many bread products in all my life. That's what was spread on the table.
Yeah,
yeah. So what they're doing with them, I don't know. I know I haven't been successful with cookies or muffins or the sweet treats, but I'm going to continue to do this. So we're going to have plenty of.
So what days are they here? Tuesday. No, I just want
Tuesday mornings
to make sure he's there.
I deliver them about 8:30.
No, so if I'm going to the fitness center, I just want to check and see what's doing. Not that I wanted it.
Oh, come on, we know you got
Some exercise,
Tuesday,
some
I'm
bread.
still playing golf.
Yeah, but croissants and bread, whatever is left over, they pack it up in plastic bags and then they put it either in paper bags or this time it was one huge, it's like a garbage bag, but it was see-through. So
it could be loaves of bread, it could be bagels, it could be.
Yeah, people will put the loaves of bread on the table and they'll just take it.
Right. Anyway, now I have to work with the Friends group because I'd like some other people to back me up. If I can't go and pick up items So anyway, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that this organization is recognized. Anyway, the manager said he'd been throwing out. I pulled it to kind of strangle him, but I couldn't do that because I had to get him to approve what I wanted. But they've been throwing the products out.
You get the butter to put on the
No, I'm
Could that
sorry.
be your next project? I mean, for a local place that makes milk and butter that you could.
Oh, wow.
You have done untold what I know.
Yeah.
How long you, because I go to their board meetings and I know how long she's been working on this, so.
Great.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just happy for the center,
Well, it's
you know,
really.
that we have been recognized.
Can we want to put it out on the table? And the kitchen help serve the breakfast people.
Right.
What they ask, oh, I'll have a plain.
But they also put things that are left over, like fruit and stuff, on a table.
Yeah.
There's a table in the cafeteria.
So there might be
every day.
certain things that are brought in those days that can be used in the kitchen to serve breakfast,
Right.
whether it, be pastry or donut, muffins or whatever it is. And, but the loaves of bread are not something that we're gonna be using.
Unless somebody's gonna make
I'm
it.
just going
Yeah.
We use the bread for grilled cheeses.
Oh,
That's yummy. That's good. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, we have like I think it's on Friday when we have grilled cheese.
You know what, the kitchen staff in the morning has been so accommodating to the people that are there. It's really terrific. Well, people can come in and get bagels or whatever they want, and they get them.
Yeah, and
They're really good.
They're really good.
Yeah, they bring them out, they do it, they bring them out.
They
serve
clean the
them,
tables.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of stuff we have to tell all these seniors, all these good things that are going on. That sounds wonderful.
That it was.
Yes,
an
I agree.
accomplishment.
Should be in the town easement.
Story.
So that's what we need to do is get the native observer in.
Yeah, someone in this board is involved with that project, I think so.
And that would be a great story for me.
Yeah, right.
It would be a great story.
Yeah, get Peter O'Neill up there.
Especially that story right there.
So I'm having breakfast with one of the editor-in-chief Tuesday morning.
Peter O'Neill?
No, he's not the editor-in-chief.
What's his last name?
Gene.
Gene.
I think they are doing. Yes.
It's a different article.
Yeah,
Because they interviewed me for that.
Yeah,
That was good.
It was a student, it's already been in.
Right.
How many subscribers do they have, do you know?
Off the top of my head, no, it's in the thousands, but it's not tremendous. I mean, part of the problem, at the end of every Thursday at the end, there's a thing that says donate. I've tried and tried and tried to tell them they have to tell people what they need donations for.
Yeah.
Because these are all people that volunteer.
Right.
So if we're not paying salaries, what do we need the donations for? And it's insurance and a whole realm of things that need to be paid.
When I went to select board in July, Peter was there.
Yeah.
He said everything.
He's everywhere. And these people volunteer and we like at some point to pay them. But,
Yeah,
if people don't.
Here, they don't.
No. Or they
Once a year, they do a little.
Yeah. Well, it's not enough. Anyway.
No, that's a good point.
Just go ahead.
Yes, okay. So you're all invited October 25th, and it's in the Compass. We're going to have an orange and root beer floats. We'll be making those. And there'll be some other treats, not bread. And then we're going to have a scary movie for Halloween. So, but check your Compass because it's in there. And it'll be in the afternoon. And then I just want to say thank you to Colleen and the Exchange Foundation for giving the friends money to do work on the balcony, on the deck. And Colleen's already spoken about that, but anyway, that's great. That really helps us. And then as Colleen already said, the friends and Colleen helped us to purchase fabric for the chairs out by the elevator, and they look great. We haven't seen it. And the chairs in the line. They are just super.
Yeah, I think they look good. Yeah. Latanya.
I just
Oh,
said.
Latanya and Colleen.
Latanya are in the fabric. Yeah. And I went over to the needle upholstery. The guy was fantastic. So,
they really look nice.
Who's that doing?
needle upholstery. They're next door to, you know,
Tin Rabbit.
Yeah, Tin Rabbit. Usually, you really have to go in through the back parking lot, but they're incredible. And they did. Yes.
We've had it for so many years that we've been shopping for new ones and we hate all of them.
So, you know, they're really, really good. Anyways. Okay, all right.
It'll cost more.
Yeah. You know, it just, but if you like it, just on one of the things that was mentioned today and not really brought up, but I had it on my, you know, thing for approval, for the someone to go to their annual meeting, which was last Friday. And they do strawberry shortcake and so on and so forth. And they asked members of this board to stand. And there were 3 of us there. It would be nice at some point when something like this happens, if as many that are available could go and be recognized, because they don't know who we are, and I think it's important that they do. So at some of that they're having, and maybe it's the ice cream float party.
It's in the afternoon, so it's going to be, I believe it's 1 o'clock, but check the compass because it's already printed out. Oh, good.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
All right. Ted.
Yes.
I didn't forget you.
No, I'm still here. Just a quick comment relative to the Panera Bread things that they give away. I go to the VA in West Roxbury, and in the morning, when you're there in the morning going in, there's usually a person there or 1 or 2 in the coffee cart handing out coffees. But there's 2 carts there with a couple of women that are giving away all of this Panera food. And it's, you know, the bagels, the bread sliced up, long breads like the French breads, croissants, all kinds of little things like that. It's very good. Everybody helps himself to something. We know a couple of different things, leave and all that. So I think that that'll be a nice thing that'll take place here. Yeah. So yeah, good to look forward to. Just wanted to bring up a couple of things. One, our last 4th of July event that took place here in town was very good. Very well attended by the VFW. I had the honor of riding the backside of the low bed truck, and I had the honor of operating the bubble machine.
Oh,
big responsibility.
Right. Oh, it is.
Well,
Everybody, not just anybody.
well, not only that, but I was a bit surprised at bubble machine. But it's surprising as you're going along, all the children go bananas for the bubbles as well as the pets. The dogs really go to try and grab the bubbles.
And hopefully those kids weren't running out into the street.
Well, yeah, they stay a little bit away. The parents trying to keep them there, but the bubbles are shooting out, so it's going more towards them. But that was pretty good. Hopefully, again, it'll be the same kind of thing this coming year. The 9/11 event that took place recently, the VFW participated there as well. Quite a turnout of people. The bad thing that always takes place is they're trying to say what they're trying to say at the event, the fire chief and all that, but they lack, again, that portable speaker system where they get their word out. That was when I mentioned that 2-3 years ago yet to the select board people before, but I guess it never happened. But anyway, there was a good event. A lot of pedestrians were around, which kind of they got up that morning to be there at that time. You know, that was good. Looking forward also to the November 11th that's going to come up, the Veterans Weekend, Veterans Day. That'll be a good event, and the pocket drive taking place before it. The other thing that I had was kind of sad, but we here in Needham, as well as the other 5 towns, we had the VSO, TJ Tedeschi. He was the retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel, I think he was. I think God up above, if there is a God, sent him down and people like him to do what they do. That person went above and beyond the call of duty. I go meet him once in a while just to talk, excuse me, to talk to him, pass along some information. And oh yeah, he says, yeah, he's got an appointment with a widow veteran's widow that's in the town. He's going personally to see her at the house. So that's going above and beyond the call of duty, because usually those people don't know anything that's taking place, especially after the veteran dies. So unfortunately, he's not on board anymore. He left. He took a job in North Reading, which is closer for him. He lives in Billerica, so he cut his commute down. But there's been other things, because he was only the deputy director, and the regular director was deployed. Supposedly she was coming back, but the way it is right now, she's history. So what the 5 towns, as well as Needham, have right now, they've got a person that's filling in. He's a retired VSO out of Brockton. So he didn't even know that. When I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, he said he was going to be filling in until November, until the other person comes back that's been deployed overseas. But he didn't know at that time that that person is history. So the town right now only has him. Maybe they'll extend his time period. I know a suggestion is being made behind the scenes for Needham to maybe look to get a VSO strictly for Needham by itself, because ironically, of all the 5 towns that the VSO represents, Needham has the highest number of veterans as opposed to all the other 5. So that's going to be a letter forthcoming behind the scenes going to whoever it is in the town there. The other thing I wanted to mention, I remember one time I mentioned here, yeah, we do our meeting, we do the minutes get recorded, and I asked the question, well, who reads these? Does anybody really read these? And I think the comment was, you need to get to the select board in order to look to get something addressed or put on some kind of an agenda. At a recent meeting that was at the VFW, it was the fellow that's up running for state representative, Josh Tarson. You've probably seen the banners all around. He was there at the VFW. He was having a little event, and there was a select board person there. I won't mention the name of the select board person, but that particular select board member, I got a little bit of a rapport going with him because I talked to the fellow, or he talked to me when we were doing our Memorial Day last year at the Needham Town Cemetery. We got in a little discussion. He was kind of surprised at what I was telling him because he didn't know anything about this stuff. But anyway, while we were at this meeting, he said, I got an email that I want to send you. And basically the email was, our governor passed and approved the HERO Act. And the HERO Act being that for veterans, depending on what your service-connected percentage is, your excise tax on your automobile you won't have to be paying it. And the other one is for the veterans exemption that are given on real estate in Needham. They're looking to make, because usually it's a set amount every year, they're looking to make that tied into the COLA. So the cost of living, as that goes up, your benefit will go up. So those 2 things they had mentioned. And he sent me an email, I've got it. I had other things with this. What I did also, this past week, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, right here in the senior center, they had coffee with the town manager, Kate Fitzpatrick. She was there. I brought this topic up, and as soon as I mentioned something, she said, oh, the HERO Act, but she didn't mention anything what's in it. But anyway, I mentioned that and I mentioned what the items were. At the same time, while she was there, I brought attention to her relative to this package here, which is dated March 1, 2023. This was the West Suburban Veterans Service District. This packet was a number of different kinds of benefits I passed along to our veteran service officer when he took over, TJ Tedeschi. He made up a packet. He turned around and presented it. When he took over, he had a meeting with all 5 town managers. He presented this to them. They knew nothing about it. I had mentioned to Kate the other day, I says that, you know, one of the things that was in this plan, the seniors have it in this town. They have I guess it's been on for a number of years, administered by the senior center. But there is there's a senior tax workup program, but there is separately a veteran property tax workup program. The dramatic difference between the two is for a senior, you've got to list all your income, your assets, who's making what, who's living with you, et cetera, et cetera. For the veterans tax workup program, no income and asset requirement. And it's ironic because the samples that I had when I presented it was, this one here was for the town of Ludlow in Western Mass. I had another one in the packet from Northampton. And I mentioned it at the time of the West Suburban District meeting, pointed it out to Kate at the time. I says, these towns are 90 miles away in Western Mass. They have it at the beginning of the year. Already the paperwork is there, set in place, okay? These are laws that were passed in 2018 by the governor at that time. And I says, we here are 10 miles away from the State House and you haven't got that incorporated yet. So this was one of them. The other one that was in here is for a veteran with a minimum service connection percentage is exempt from the Community Preservation Act, exempt from the Community Preservation Act tax that's on your real estate tax bill. We're not talking hundreds of thousands of dollars here. We're just talking a matter of, there's a certain amount of money there, but it comes 4 times a year. And it's interesting when, you know, these things are available, and then I sit at these different meetings and you hear different things in the town about, you know, housing for seniors, more of different kinds of help for seniors. Here's stuff for veterans that's passed by law. It's not something that you got to really scratch to get done. It's already a law that's in effect. Mass General Law number such and such for each one. And the stuff is, nothing's happening. So because I got this little rapport with this select board person, I'm going to look to turn around and pass this stuff along to him, and also to probably send it to the other select board people. Absolutely. Because they're all another generation up above. They're not the ones that used to be in there before. And likewise, the good part too is kind of have a little rapport going with this new candidate that's running for Denise Garlick's seat. And I saw in the local paper that, not to go into politics, but I saw in the local paper that he won all the precincts in Needham except one. So he's on a good track. Number one, a lot of flyers have been out there. He's the guy that lives in Needham, and he's a veteran also, 2 terms.
Okay, if you're it sounds like you're promoting him. I would prefer that we don't.
When somebody like that's going to be in, I think that I told him I will be sending him this kind of stuff so he can probably look to do something in the town towards getting veterans recognized on those.
Yeah, if you're going to send it to him, you have to send it to the other candidate as well.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, but the other candidate, whoever's going to win, that's who I'm going to send it to.
Okay.
Ted, I agree this shouldn't be political endorsement of anyone.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think it should be put in place, and I think it can be in place without whoever is going to be elected before that time.
Well, the stuff has been around since 2013.
But this is something.
However, it's something that you have to get from the law that it's here place to Needham. How does Needham incorporate that or provide that privilege? A service.
Well, that was one good
to the
thing.
taxpayer.
That was
They
one,
must be identified somewhere as a
Yeah.
veteran.
Well, there's a bill up in the State House now. I think when Denise Garlick was in here, I had mentioned that it didn't get voted yet. They broke it up. It was supposed to be for all veterans, it's too much. So they broke it up 65 and older. It's up there at the State House. They gotta keep hacking it over. But it basically, depending on your service connected percentage, that would be the percentage that gets knocked off your real estate tax bill. 10, 20, 60, 80, or 100%.
Yeah, but Ted, all of this stuff needs to go to the Board of Select.
Oh, yeah, no,
Select
that's
Board,
right, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're the ones that's gonna make it effective.
Yes.
It's not gonna be us or the state
No, that's
rep.
right. I know, I
Because
mentioned
they've
that.
already voted on it.
Yeah, I mentioned that once before, but relative to who reads our minutes. And the comment was about the select board. So I'm trying to go down that route now to see what happens. And unfortunately, because we lost this veteran service officer that we had that was on top of all of these, the change is sort of broken. Anyway, I thank you for your attention.
But you can speak to the select board at any one of their meetings.
Well, I noticed a few times on the Needham site, they do have a meeting that's scheduled with a particular one. So, yeah, so that's a good thing to go through.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
lastly, I just want to mention, October, by the end of October, Voice of Democracy and Patriots Pen Time is again, that the Needham school systems have been alerted by our chaplain. So anybody who's got grandchildren, niece, nephews, or whatever in middle school, high school, you don't have to be even in this state to do it. You can send it from out of state, it gets sent here into the Needham VFW or whatever. Free money on the local level, district level, state level, and federal level. And the grant prize, $23,000.
Yeah, all my
So,
grandchildren are too old.
You
You wanna do a college
You might have
let
a
me
nice
know.
neighbor. You might have a nice young neighbor.
Okay, thank you, Ted.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, any old business, new business that we haven't already gone over 10,000 times tonight?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
That's the one that everybody agrees on.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
Latanya, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay,
Another meeting.
can you send me a copy of your board report? Because I didn't get it.
Okay, I'll do it in the morning. Is that okay?
Yeah, not tonight,
Okay.
when you get a chance. And then who just made the motion? I'm sorry, the recordings, I'm sure it's good on the recording, but I'm sure I'll be able to hear it on the recording. It's hard to hear in the room.
Oh, Dan made the motion.
And who's second?
Who seconded the Sue? Sue seconded.
And I'll watch for the recording on YouTube, Latanya, because I
Okay,
can
if you have
re-review
any
it.
other questions, give me a call.
Okay, I hope you have a nice evening. Nice to see you.
See you. Good night.
Bye, Latanya.
Okay.